Hello, welcome back to the Caleb Adamo channel. Today we're going to be talking about the new Westside Gunn project, Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Sincerely Adolf. I listened to this on Friday. I've listened to it a couple of times over the weekend and just wanted to give my kind of review and thoughts on the project as a whole. We'll go briefly through the track by track, give you a quick breakdown and my thoughts quickly on each track, and then I'll give you an overview of what I thought, and then like we did for the Donda reaction review, which if you haven't, you should go back and check out. But then at the end of this review, we'll give Hitler Wears Hermes 8 a score out of 10. First, I just wanted to introduce Westside Gunn. For those of you that don't know, he's a rapper from Buffalo, New York. In 2014, he founded the Griselda Records record label, which has got the likes of Benny the Butcher on, Conway the Machine being brother of Westside Gunn. This album, Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Sincerely Adolf, is going to be the 19th project on streaming sites at the minute. I use Tidal, I've mentioned that before, but I use Tidal, and this is the 19th project from Westside Gunn on there, and obviously the 8th in the series of Hitler Wears Hermes. So this project follows on from his previous album that came out in 2020 called Who Made the Sunshine, and that was his final album released through Shady Records, the record label owned by Eminem, who Westside Gunn has now departed from and is now an independent artist, obviously working with Griselda Records, the label that he founded. So going into Hitler Wears Hermes 8, I didn't have much of an expectation. Westside Gunn has produced consistently over the last couple of years. The first project I ever heard by Westside Gunn was Supreme Blind Towel back in 2018, and that was making a big splash in the scene at the time. Everyone was talking about it. I didn't love it, but it was okay. I definitely saw the potential in Westside Gunn, and he very much has continued that and been consistent with his both releases and the level and quality of the projects he's been releasing. So it's been good to see. Track number 1 is just an instrumental intro. This really heavy bassy instrumental introduction to the album, and then the second is another kind of intro. It's a spoken word piece. So A.A. Rashid just speaking, setting the scene. It's okay. It's an introduction, basically 2 tracks of the introductions. Okay, so then when we get into the third track, Mariota, featuring Stove God Cooks, has this very nice looped vocal sample going on in the background, and actually that's quite a theme throughout the album really, but it's got this really nice looped vocal sample, and Stove God Cooks kills it. I enjoyed his feature, and he's featured a bunch of times on this album, and I really enjoyed that. I like the way that Stove God Cooks sounded over these grimy beats that Westside Gunn often uses, and to be honest, so does Stove God on his previous projects. Track number 4, Bow Cover, which again features Stove God Cooks. It's a good track. Yeah, it had that same vocal sample on repeat, had that really fun Eddie Levert kind of interlude right in the middle of the track, which was fun, kind of takes you out of the production for a second to have this old style, almost vinyl sounding interlude, Eddie Levert speaking, and then you go straight back into Stove God Cooks doing his verse in the second half of the song. And then into track 5, we got Margiela Split Toes. I might have mispronounced that, but this is featuring Mach-Hommy. I don't think I've personally loved as much as other people have his past project. He released one earlier this year, Pray for Haiti, and people love that. I've been seeing people saying it's like their albums of the year already and stuff, and I thought it was a okay album. I thought it was a little bit dry. The lyrics are interesting and the way he rhymes are really interesting, but it was just a little bit lackluster, a little bit dry, and there wasn't much substance to it, if that makes sense. When I saw Mach-Hommy on the track list for this album, I wasn't exactly excited, and the song proved to be a little bit flat for me. The production wasn't wowing me, and I thought it was a little bit flat. I did enjoy the horns in the background. I did enjoy the horn samples, and that sounded really kind of jazzy, almost bluesy actually. That was fun. Feature wasn't outstanding in any way. Then we had Draymond on track number 6, titled Draymond. So this featured Stove God Cooks and Rome Streetz. Big fan of Rome Streetz. Love his work. He's released a couple of albums already this year, I think, or a couple of projects. I can't remember the names of them, but I've been enjoying Rome Streetz over the last couple of years. Consistency that he's been bringing with his releases. So it was nice to see him included on this Westside Gunn. So that was fun. I also think that this track number 6 was one of my personal favourites, maybe the best track on the album. They're talking about not being able to trust the people around them and how their backgrounds have kind of slipped into their presence. How they've not been able to shake the shackles of certain lifestyles that they were living and once a part of, and how that still influences and affects them today. So that was really interesting hearing about that. Then we slip into track number 7, Peri Peri, also featuring Rome Street. Again, it's another great feature from Rome Street, rapping over some really kind of threatening piano key sounds. It was fun, it was okay. Then we go into track number 8 with Right Now, which features Jadakiss, Stove God Cooks. Westside Gunn has worked with Jadakiss before, like on the Supreme Blind Tell project back in 2018 that I was just referencing a minute ago. It's a good feature from Jadakiss. I think he very much came down to the Westside Gunn approach to rapping with that slower, more kind of specific and purposeful bars, that slowed down pace and approach. It was nice. It was nice to hear. I enjoyed it. Then we go into track number 9, Westheimer. This was a bit more of a posse cut, so this featured Boldy James, Sauce Walker, Stove God Cooks, and obviously Westside Gunn himself. I thought the feature from Sauce Walker was probably the standout. I really liked his bars about Jay-Z, talking about how he had the opportunity to sign with Roc Nation, Jay-Z's record label, but chose not to, but still respects Jay-Z either way. So that was really fun to hear. I enjoyed Westheimer. It was another highlight of the track list for me. Then we go into track 10, Bash Money. Now this track featured Lil Wayne, which is really interesting. I liked how Lil Wayne sounded on the beat. The production for this song was one of the darkest, heaviest beats produced. I'm not sure who did the production on this album, I'm not entirely sure, but this beat on the track Bash Money I really enjoyed, and Lil Wayne sounded good over it. I don't think that he was saying much, I don't think that he contributed that much in terms of content to the actual album, but the way he sounded was really nice, and it's nice hearing Westside Gunn get a little bit more mainstream recognition. But yeah, so that was a okay song, decent song. We go into track 11, Claire's Back. Now this had the 3 main Griselda boys on, so Conway, Benny the Butcher and Westside Gunn all rapping together, sounding really nice together. Conway had the standout verse for me. He always does, he's probably my favourite Griselda member, so Conway probably had the best verse for me. Then Benny the Butcher, then Westside Gunn. Not that Westside Gunn's feature was bad, but it just didn't wow me in the same way as the other ones did. And then we go into track number 12, Spoons, where Westside Gunn and Conway the Machine were trading bars back and forward. I really enjoyed this. It's quite a short track, but I really enjoyed the way that they intermittently came in and almost sounded like they were competing against each other bar for bar, and it was really cool to hear. I really liked the beat. In the background, this kind of flute sound, this high-pitched flute sound that was in the background and added to the track's atmosphere. This was either my favourite or second favourite track. And then you go into the last track, 13, with Boldy James, which I think was a bit of a disappointing closer. I don't think I was wowed or impressed that much with this song particularly. Didn't love the production. It was a little bit irritating, a little bit samey. It didn't really switch anything up, and so I was a little bit disappointed with the final track on the album. But overall, this was probably, and this isn't saying much, but this was probably the most I've ever enjoyed a Westside Gunn project. I am not the biggest fan of Westside Gunn in terms of vocals, his voice, the way he sounds over tracks. And I know that's quite an unpopular thing to say. I know lots of people love him, but for me personally, I don't adore Westside Gunn's presence on a lot of tracks. Not that he can't contribute lyrically, and not that he can't contribute content-wise and work over some good beats, but I always feel like his work is always a little bit lackluster for me, and everyone hypes it up so much. I expect it to be so big and great. It disappoints a little bit for me. I think on this album, because of that, I think the features stole the show for me. I think Stove God Cooks and Rome Streets in particular and Conway the Machine, were big standouts and were really impressive over these beats, and I found myself actually wanting more features than I wanted to hear from Westside Gunn. And on his own project, it's not really what you want to hear. Not that I think he was bad, again, I just think it's just his voice for me. It's not something that I completely love. But yeah, it was an okay project. It was fine. It's probably not going to be something I come back to very often. There are other projects from the Griselda boys that I'm going to return to more over this, but yeah, it's just how I'm feeling about it, basically. Yeah, so I'm probably going to give this album a flat 6 out of 10. It's good. It is good. It's not bad. It's above average. Like I said, it's the most I've ever enjoyed a Westside Gunn project, but I don't think I'm going to return to it much. If you like Westside Gunn, you're going to like this album. If you like the voice already and haven't got a problem with it, then you're gonna have a great time listening to this. So yeah, check it out. If you agreed with me or disagreed with me, let me know down below in the comments. Please drop a like, please subscribe, and hopefully you'll see from me again soon. Right, see you later.